Hey, welcome back. I was about to do meditation this morning and then I thought, why don't I record and just do my own? I'm finally in a space where I can do this again. So one surgery later, one move later, we are mostly settled in. And I need to meditate today. So thanks for joining me. I do want to pick up where I left off with the somatic work we were doing. So we started out with our body. If you haven't been following along, sorry for the interruptions. Let's try that again. Okay. So our somatic work that we've been doing began with just breathing and getting used to the physical sensations in our body. I thought I did two. Maybe it was only one that was somatic. I mean, in reality, if you aren't familiar with what somatic work or somatic breath work is, it is tuning into our body, coming back into our body, because we get so caught up in our heads. We get so busy with our thoughts, or we're so busy with our body that we actually become disconnected, meaning we're so busy doing, trying to complete tasks, rather than actually being aware of how our body feels in those tasks. We want to be fully present. So your soma is your body, it's your spirit, it's your whole being. And today we are going to get to the level of the emotion. So it's a bottom-up approach, meaning you begin with the physical sensations. You're going to come into recognizing what emotions show up based on how your body is physically feeling. And then we will get to the thoughts, the phrases, the messages, the images that come to your mind from those experiences, those sensations. Sorry, my hair it keeps falling out, so go ahead and get into a comfortable position and begin breathing slowly. Bring your awareness to your breath. And trust your body to communicate to you your needs. We don't need to solve any problems. There's nothing wrong. We're simply becoming aware. When I tell you that you have needs, or when you think about your body having needs, it might feel like a problem, but it's not. It's all natural. A lot of times the problems that arise in our life are those problems that make us feel stressed. They feel very urgent. Feels very important. And when we can step back and tune in to our body, we can slow down, we can reprioritize and recognize what our actual needs are. And as our body relaxes and we are tuned in, then we can become more fully present. Our conscious awareness is in control, meaning we are in control. It becomes mind over matter instead of all the physical driving us and us being on autopilot. We become the driver of our thoughts, the driver of our feelings, and we take control of our responses. We more easily and more clearly make choices. because we are in our conscious brain. We're not running on autopilot. So if you truly want to solve those problems that seem like problems, have the faith to be still, to step back, and to let your body, mind, and spirit, and heart, and the earth communicate to you what needs to be done. And everything becomes synchronized, abundance flows, and you will more easily accomplish what you need to do. And those things that seemed important may not seem so important anymore. It doesn't mean they don't have value, but you are not so attached to the outcome. You begin to experience life flowing through each moment without worrying how things will turn out, because you are in control. You can simply feel the emotions that come. So today we are going to feel those emotions and enjoy the journey, or at least accept the journey and be at peace, find contentment in our life, the circumstances in which we currently find ourselves. So we're going to take a moment to tap back in to the physical sensations before we reach that level of the emotion. Don't worry what emotions you're feeling. They are there. They don't need to control you. So take in a deep breath and a long exhale. And I want you to just feel your skin and each layer of skin underneath, the tissue that resides below the skin, cushioning and protecting your tendons, your ligaments, your organs, your skeletal system, and your nervous system. Feel the oxygen flowing through your veins, and notice where it leads you. Where does your oxygen flow? What sensation in your body right now is calling for your attention? If it helps you to label it or name it, you can. When you're more practiced, you're just going to feel it. But for now, as an example, I'm noticing that my throat is a little tight and my jaw in the back. You are welcome to physically try to relax the area of your body that is tense or uncomfortable, if it helps you. This helps externally, but internally you may still be feeling that tension, which is why we want to return to our breath and trust that our body will release the tension when it is ready. And we can help our body process those feelings, to allow those feelings to move through us by coming back to our breath. Slow and even. So let's just take a moment here to do deep breathing. You can count your inhales and exhales if it helps you to keep an even tempo and helps you to stay concentrated on your breath. Because it's likely you have several thoughts running through your mind right now if you're not practiced in meditation, and that is completely normal. Our mind is sending us so many signals, trying to remind us, as we talked about earlier, about those things that are important, the problems that need to be solved. You don't need to push those thoughts away. Just let them be. They're still there, like the beach ball in the ocean. Don't push it away, just let it be. And return to your breath. Take a few more breaths. And continue your pattern of breathing, but I want you to return your attention to the tension, the discomfort that was calling to you earlier. Where is your focus in your body? Acknowledge the feeling. And as you continue to breathe and keep your attention on those physical sensations, notice what emotion comes to mind. It will just be one word. It is not a phrase. It's not a thought with a story accompanying the emotion. It's just the emotion. The word might be there easily, it might come immediately. If it doesn't, don't struggle to find it. Simply return to your breath, continue to focus on the feeling, and let your body relax into the feeling. Just allow it to be there. You might even have images or thoughts about the physical feeling, and that's okay at this level. If we need help describing what's taking place in your body, that might help you discover the emotion. As an example, imagery-wise, visually, there's a darkness surrounding my throat, jaw, and ear area of my head, radiating to the back of my neck and coming down into my shoulders. specifically my shoulder blades. Almost like it's reaching for my heart. So I want to run away from that dark feeling, but instead I need to let it flow through me if I want to release it. So I'm going to just sit with this darkness. And immediately I recognize the word. The emotion for me is fear. And when we're not practiced in mindfulness and meditation as a regular daily exercise, or just a consistent exercise that we do frequently throughout the week, we may immediately want to jump to conclusions. Why am I feeling afraid right now? Because I need to solve this. I don't want to feel afraid. I need to know what it is that's causing this fear. But instead, we're just going to let that go. We don't need to know the reason. Instead, we're going to come back to the physical feeling of whatever emotion you're feeling. And in my case, that is fear. What does being afraid feel like? That is where our body can process the emotion. We're not processing thoughts, we are processing emotions. Where does fear show up in my body? How does it feel? Does it move? Is it tight? I'm just going to allow it to be there. I'm going to welcome the fear the way I would welcome a friend, or maybe specifically a guest. If I need to start out with a more formal relationship with this emotion because I'm afraid of the fear, I can just be kind and polite. Let it pull up a chair and sit next to me. Because I'm just observing it right now as this hostess with this guest who has entered my space. I'm going to notice how fear presents itself, how I see it. I'm having other images come up for me because I recognize this feeling of fear. So there are memories trying to make their way into my conscious thought. But instead of getting hung up on the memory or the thought, I'm coming back to what it feels like, and that feeling is almost like I'm falling. Like there's no ground beneath me. I'm just going to ride this feeling the way that I ride the waves in the ocean. And the only way I can do that is by making myself more comfortable with the fear. It is no longer a guest, it is right around me. It's as if we are embracing one another. I'm holding the fear with me, almost like a safety flotation device in these waves. But it's okay to let it go. Oftentimes when there's a familiar emotion that we carry with us, we're afraid to let it go because we're afraid of what it will mean if we don't feel it anymore. We are afraid of the unknown. I know what it feels like to be afraid. And yet, ironically, the fear of the unknown is what is causing me to hold on to the fear because I don't want to be afraid. And yet, I continue to sit in fear. I continue to let the fear keep me from moving forward, from stepping into uncertainty, from exploring new opportunities, having faith to walk away from the fear. Or perhaps I simply need to bring it with me. I don't need to hold on to it so tightly, but maybe right now I'll just hold its hand and begin to walk forward. Again, I'm not going to focus on what it is specifically that I'm so afraid of right now in my life, because I can feel the thoughts trying to make their way and my mind wanting to reason, to understand why I'm feeling this. Keep coming back to your body. I am in a huge abyss right now. And as I am holding tightly, I don't know if you notice, if you can see my hands, my hand was kind of clenched. I'm holding tightly onto the hand of fear, and yet I can hold a little more softly. We're just walking together. I don't need to hold on so tightly because fear is not going anywhere. It's walking right beside me, almost like a shadow. So I can just walk. And perhaps the reason I want fear to stay with me, so I don't make mistakes. But again, I'm jumping to conclusions, trying to reason. I can just accept that I can keep fear here as long as it needs to last, but that the more I embrace it rather than resist it, the easier it will be to let it go. You may have been able to process your feeling completely, and you feel completely relaxed now. Again, the next meditation that we do, we will actually reach the conscious thoughts, the images, phrases, messages that come to our mind that help us understand what it is. For me, what it is I'm so afraid of. For you, what's making you stressed, what's making you overwhelmed, what's making you sad or lonely or depressed or anxious or worried. Whatever emotion with that frequency that's calling your attention, depending on what the story is that we don't yet know. You may have just felt this emotion recently where it's easy to let it go, or it might be something you've been carrying with you for weeks or months or even years. So we just process a little at a time. And I am at the point where I'm not afraid of this fear, and I am grateful to recognize the tension in my shoulder blades and in my throat and jaw. Whether it's being caused by fear or by some other physical trigger. As an example, I deal with allergies that bring up a lot of physical symptoms. Sometimes we actually have a physical trigger that brings up an emotional response in our body because of our history, because of our memories. And that's why we don't need to hold on so tightly. That's why we can just process it. And if it is something that's just physical, it's more easy for our body to process it. If it is attached to an emotion that leads to a thought or a memory, it is something that our body wants to process. Your body is sending you signals and messages for you to process this emotion that you have been suppressing for so long. And in my case, I can tell my body's holding on to that tension, but at the same time, I'm more relaxed because I recognize it for what it is. So today, I can move forward in fear, which is great, because with that fear, I can have courage and I can have faith and I can be loving toward myself and patient. I can take time to be still, to take things slowly, because I recognize that there's this fear sitting inside of me right now. So, I hope this experience was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me in today's meditation. Obviously, I'm the one who needed it, but I really hope that you were able to learn some more about somatic breath work and somatic mindfulness so you can tune into your body more, be more aware. Don't be surprised if more things start to come up and you feel uncomfortable today. The more we tune in to our body, the more self-aware we are, the more uncomfortable we can feel. Just like doing a renovation on a house. And as you start to take away the old, you might expose rotting wood or mold or termites, and you didn't know that was there before. So why did I have to expose this? Can I just put it away? Can I just tape it back up? It's like we are exposing the skeletons in the closet, right? So take it easy, have fun today. You don't need to keep doing this. We need to do this slowly, one session at a time, because it's a lot and it takes a lot of mental and physical energy. So if you haven't opened your eyes already, go ahead and open your eyes. Take one last breath. One last mindful breath. Obviously, keep breathing. And I hope you can feel gratitude for your body, for the way that it communicates with you, with your mind and spirit and heart, and with the earth. So peace, I leave with you. Namaste.